Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the series where I cast your solo queue games. Today we're casting no ordinary man. Known as the unofficial face of League of Legends, bench pressing more than the combined weight of both of his parents. The sole reason why you and I haven't seen a non-toxic Draven player since Season 4. And also, the guy who's gonna let me cast the next TCS. And yeah, the contact information will be down below. Standing at an astonishing between 6'5" and 4'4", according to Google. Multi-season, multi-role challenger player, a man of many names. Tiny Tyler1. Big Tonka T, but today known as Cookie Monster 123, and that is the guy we are casting. Ezreal here for Red Team. Tyler1, Cookie Monster 123, a man of many names. On his signature not Draven, Ezreal today. And I mean, what we have to remember about this guy is he plays every single role in the game, and he can play pretty much every single champion. But yeah, today on the Ezreal, going up against a Samira Nautilus lane, which will or should at least be a rough time for Ezreal Braum. A very slow scaling bot lane, not much engage, not much early game damage. As we see right here, they will lose most of the early game trades unless they have the jungle there to gank them. But yeah, maybe we will see a masterclass from our protagonist Tyler1 from today's episode. However, looking more realistically at it, we should take a look at both jungles here, as we do see a level 2 all in for blue team. Have reached level 2 first. Ooh, Samir dashes in, but there's an exhaust, cleanses the exhaust. No one will go down with this trade, it looks like, but Tyler1 will get the best of Samira. And this level 2, I think Samira was a little too slow to follow up on the engage that Nautilus did when they reached level 2 before the enemy team bot lane. However, a couple of sums are used, only exhaust used from the side of red team, and we have to take a look at both junglers on your minimap. Both around bot lane here. Once again, another Draven lands. Also no Braum flashes away, but nilah flashes after him. That's a 1-for-1 so far. Flashes away from the javelin toss, but here is Volibear, and will maybe take down. Also flashes on top of Ezreal. Oof, tanks the javelin toss. 2-for-2 so far. Will nilah also take down Volibear? Flashes away from the first pounce. What about lands the javelin toss? Takes down Volibear. And Tristana even joined the fight. Don't think she hit anyone, just thinks that she rocket jump, flash forward to not do anything. Yeah, 0 kill, 0 assist for the blue team mid laner, but kind of spicy start to the game. 3 kills going over to the blue team jungler, and that is the two guys we should keep a look at in this game, is the two junglers, both very early game oriented. A lot of snowballing potential for these two junglers. nilah getting the best of the first encounter that they have in the bot lane. But yeah, we just saw a failed roam from Braum, and here's Nautilus with another level 2 roam. And we have to remember this is I think it's a Grandmaster game, and another gank from Volibear, counter gank from nilah. A lot of sums have been used from the bot lane before. Also, on flashes forward, gets the first kill for himself onto Braum. Volibear will go down once again. That's now 5 kills for blue team in only 4 minutes of the game. 2k gold lead already, 2.2 actually. And nilah really getting the best of Volibear in this early game trades. Just been there for the gank, for both ganks, just 10 seconds before Volibear getting the best of him. That's tempo. I mean, that's just tempo. Bot lane looking pretty still right now. Obviously no support there to help any of the ADCs. Tyler1 just chilling right now, pushing in the wave. Will maybe get a plate for himself. Have poked down the Samira though. And that is the thing we have to remember about Samira. She is very low range, especially compared to the likes of Ezreal, who has the poke pretty much all the time with his Qs, right? Because I mean, this is League of Legends Season 12, you never run out of mana, so you can poke all the time as Israel, and that is something that can harm a Samira if she doesn't have the wave with her to protect at all times. And look again, the bot lane, nilah just watching from Tribush, maybe looking for another gank. Here she is. Will she connect the javelin toss? Will not go for the pounce. Aspect of the Cougar has been used quite a lot this game already. Has got 4 kills for herself. We have to remember once again, Tristana jumps in with the rocket jump, and this should be a very one-sided mid lane. Tristana going into Anasian. It's just usually when you have these AD ranged mid laners, you just have push potential all early game, because I mean a mage like Azir can run out of mana, as we've seen him do right now, and just doesn't have the damage to wave clear yet, whereas for Tristana it's a lot easier with just rapid basic attacks and the satchel charge if she wants to clear or push the wave even faster. So this should just be what we're gonna see in the mid lane for the next at least 5-10 minutes. However, as he has been doing really well CS wise, so even though he has been pushed in all 7 minutes, he has a CS lead. But here's another gang top lane. Noxus roamed up there once again with nilah, and that's now 5 kills for the blue team jungler. Call of Force Guard was used, knocked up, or knocked Aatrox up. Didn't have the flash to escape. Used it I think the first time he was ganked a couple of minutes ago. nilah also steals away the red buff. Oof. This is really starting to look like a jungle div so far. Maybe will... Okay, he will get his Crocs. But yeah, I mean, if you play jungle, whenever you get behind, or fall behind I should rather say, against nilah, it can just be so rough if your laners don't have priority, because nilah can just perma-invade you, and she has so much damage if you land a javelin toss, if you step in one of her traps. With the execute, her Q has, I think, it's just so much damage, so much mobility. Also, she can get in, get into your jungle real fast and get out of your jungle even faster. And that's just what you get with nilah, very early game oriented. Once again, top lane, it looks like the javelin toss went straight through Aatrox, will probably go down anyways. nilah will get her 6th kill of the game, now dominating 8 minutes into the game. And not looking too good for our protagonist, or at least for his team, because we have to remember Tyler1, 2 kills so far, the only one with kills on red team here. And yeah, we have a 2.5k goal lead for blue team. Not looking great, but we also need to point out that red team, they do have to scale. Israel will have to hit a couple of items before we should be a real threat. 1-2 items, that's approximately whenever he will start to deal real damage. Azir needs to get a couple of items to get rolling, and there's always outplay potential with the Emperor's Divide. The Azir ultimate looks like Aatrox will be dope here on his tank in the turret. nilah will maybe take down Aatrox. Ooh, a good tank. Flash away, but will go down. That should be a huge bounty for Aatrox. Will take down nilah, or the turret will, but hands over a 600 gold bounty, and just a great play dive from, or I should say counterplay for Aatrox from the dive the red team tried to contribute in the top lane. Doesn't work out, ends up being a 1-for-1, and that's definitely a bad trade when you trade your 600 gold bounty that you have on your jungler. But the game's still not looking too good. 3.3k gold lead for blue team. And I mean, we are rooting for Israel. Has just finished the Essence Reaver. I think we have to assume that Samira has a lot of gold on her right now. Does only have the Vamp Scepter to her name. And that should change. Gets a couple more items, but It is a mythic so far for Tyler, so we'll have to see what he can do here as he returns to lane. Does have prio recall a lot earlier than the enemy team bot lane, so should be able to push in the wave and maybe get a plate or two before Samira even returns. But yeah, a lot of action has happened in this game. We should probably also talk a bit about the team comps. And I mean, as we mentioned, the jungle is very early game focused. Red team's mid lane ADC, they need a couple of items before they start hurting. The same you could say about blue team, but blue team mid lane and bot lane, they do have more early game pressure. Mid lane because you have a Tristana ADC, a lot of push potential with those rapid basic attacks. And bot lane, I just think that Samira Nautilus offers a lot more early game in terms of they can all-in the opponent, whereas Ezreal with Braum is a really passive lane. Which should lead to the fact that blue team should have an easier time pushing, at least in the 2 versus 2. Top lane though, I mean, Ornn just really good in lane, should be able to hold his own stance against Aatrox, while nilah could be or should be camping mid bot lane, trying to delay the scaling from red team. Once again, it's a 3 vs 3. nilah is hit by the Glacial Fissure, will go down. It gets stonked with the Stormbringer. Ooh, Samira uses the Inferno Trigger, gets done, but here is Ornn has TP'd down. However, 2 kills going over to red team here. I don't think they will lose anyone themselves. Tyler1 just pushing it a bit here. Maybe a bit lucky that Nautilus didn't have the dredge line available to him. Just looking maybe to see if he can land anything. Flash depth charge goes down to it. Tyler1 takes down. Nautilus will also take down Ornn, maybe. Have to see, that's one more base attack. Flashes on the turret, will go down to the turret. Looks like, yeah, it will. But that's 2 more kills for Tyler, and that's now a Ezreal with 4 kills only 12 minutes into the game. Probably on his way, or not far off from having 2 items already. And we have started to see a bit of a comeback. nilah once again here in the top lane. Darkened Blade misses. Steps in the trap, and that should be an execute for nilah, and it will be. Almost look like another misplay from nilah, which has done a couple of a very good start to the game for nilah, but oof, nice sidestep from Azir. But I just think that nilah has done a couple misplays after she went legendary, I think it was. Started with the failed dive in the top lane. We just saw the play in bot lane before, and she almost messed up again in the top lane. And that's just something that you cannot really allow to happen when playing nilah, because again, I mean, your strength is in the early game. You're just not really a great mid to late game scaler. You only have your javelin toss, and the hit range or the hitbox is so small that it's just very tough to land late game. Bridge line just misses, and here's nilah once again. Here's the Volibear. That should be nilah once again knocked up by the Glacial Fissure as she tries to pounce on our protagonist. That's a 5th kill for Tyler so far. 150 gold bounty and 102 CS 14 minutes in. Things like pretty good CS numbers, are not the best, but when you do have 5 kills to yourself, I think that should be understandable. A lot of action. They will also take down the 2nd Drake of the game, red team. And I mean, on their way to Soul Point. And I mean, it's really not good for nilah that you already start losing these early game Drakes, because the Drakes should be the ones that you have control over when you're playing nilah. Then again, Volibear also a great early game jungler. However, does scale a lot better than nilah and can force these mid to late game turret dives with the Stormbringer, his ultimate that disables turrets. We have to look for that. However, red team, Tyler1 with the help of his beta boy support Braum, will take down the first turret of the game. And he's not done. Continues to push. Here is Volibear once again. Oof, Samira. That will be rough. Cleanses. Uses the Blade Whirl, flashes away, but here is Volibear with the Stormbringer. That's a deep chase. Inferno Trigger has also been popped. Will he hit her with the Q? Will take her down just in front of her Nexus turrets. And that's a dive if I've ever seen one. Ooh, takes the Hex Tech Portal. That's a nice little escape right there. Haven't seen much of Chitana. Jumps in with the rocket jumps. Azir doesn't have the Emperor's Divide available to him. Will go down this. It will be a 1-for-1, 2-for-1 so far. Red blue team just throwing right now, over chasing. And let's see, out attacking is Tyler1. He goes down this trade, and the kill score has evened out 11-11 right now. So blue team, they have completely thrown this early game lead that they built for themselves. Gold lead almost even, 6-5, 500-600 gold differential. And now as Aatrox took down the first top turret of the game, that will mean gold lead completely even. We also have to notice that Tyler has finished the Manamune. Will be a Muramana shortly. Here's Nilah once again, pounces into a Volibear, and Volibear, I mean, it's okay, we'll have to see what happens here. Aatrox flashes away, but here is Tyler, and again From will take down Nautilus, who also made his way up here. Double flash from Pistana, and the red team support will rocket jump her way out of there. But in the first couple of ganks where we saw Nilah engaging or being there at the right time, Volibear being late. The last couple of times now, we've just seen Volibear being there at the exact time he needed to counter gank whenever the lead tried to do something. And that's also why Volibear has earned himself a 400 gold bounty as the only one in the game right now. But yeah, gold lead still approximately dead even. Rift Herald has been popped in the mid lane. Not much to use it for, because I mean, after 14 minutes Rift Herald becomes pretty I mean, it's just not that good, because it's flat gold and you don't get any turret platings. So better to get some damage on the turret than none, I guess, but pretty useless. Pretty useless Herald here, as we see a North American ARAM. This just goes to show that this is North America. We have to remember, 18 minutes into the game, full on ARAM. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying it's probably a reason why you haven't won Worlds yet. Nautilus engaging with the dredge line. Glacial Fish is also used. Nautilus is taken down. Stormbringer is used to dive the tier 1 turret of blue team. They have already gotten 2 kills for themselves. On will also go down. There's now 3 kills for red team. And they will get out scot-free without losing anyone of their own, and that should be a major swing in the goal. That's now 1.5k gold if red team. They will take down the first mid turret of the game. Will probably also push in the wave, do a bit of damage on the tier 2, maybe not. And while all this went on, Nilah said, I'm not contributing to the North American area, I'm just gonna take some camps. And that is one way to stay in the game, because it is a level 12 Nilah, and I mean, that's at least something, right? But not looking too good for blue team. Nilah probably the only one with decent income as it is right now. Third Drake of the game spawning, and it looks like blue team will try and contest this. Kind of weird Hex Splash, but okay. Once again, Javelin Toss misses over the wall. They do have vision so far, just lost it. Oh, Dredge Line lands onto Braum. Nautilus will go down once again. Azir gets the first kill of the fight on, engages. Oof. Just dashes away, but Emperor's Device dropped 3 members of blue team back into the red team. So far, only Azir has gone down for red team. There is 4 kills. They will chase down Tristana. Doesn't have the Buster Shot available to him. That's an ace for red team. They will take down the dragon also. And looks like they're making their way towards Baron. Has just spawned in this very second. Volbear takes down the third Drake of the game, and I mean, blue team, you have just completely thrown the lead that you have. It's now a 4k gold lead. They should also have time to take down Baron. And we'll have to see. Death time was quite low, but already a third HP taken away from Baron. And yeah, they will not be able to contest blue team here, even with the Hextech gates. And also should go down once again. Snipes with the Q, doesn't even need to land the true shot barrage. And I mean, I'm just saying, our protagonist, Ezreal, 20 minutes into the game, 10 kills, 10 assists, almost 100% kill contribution. And that's probably just the power of a multi-season, multi-role challenger player, knowing where to be at the right times. But wow, 20 KP out of 21 as an ADC. Then you're doing your job correctly. Aatrox now fighting a Samira, and that should be trouble for an ADC, because we all know the strength of ADCs into a bruise, alright? Takes her down with no problem whatsoever. Don't even think that Aatrox had to pop the World Ender, but okay, he does, just to be sure. That's another Arcane Shift, misses the Q. True Shot Barrage also used, and doesn't connect. But yeah, Ezreal just starting to look really strong. 3 items for himself, Lucidity Boots. And they can really threaten dive the red team. They could, and they probably should. They know that Nilah is top side. They see her. Samira has just spawned. They can just take the inhib turret here. Will be the first inhibitor of the game. Should join Aatrox in the bot lane to take down the second inhibitor after this. And then you can... I mean, you can continue the push if you want to. You do have Baron and Power of Minions still for quite some time, I think. And you don't have the top lane or the top lane wave near you anytime soon, because Nilah is just pushing, so you are in a 5 versus 4 right now. Wait for the next minion wave, try and dive the turret. Stormbringer has been used on the turret. Ezreal goes down. Tyler1 is the last fight of the game, maybe. They will take down Samira eventually, so 1-for-1 so far. Nilah is still in the top lane, so it is still a 4 versus 3. Ornn will go down while being at his fountain. Nilah just keeping Tristana and also in fountain. Have they taken down the Nexus? I don't think they have. Ooh, Tristana tries to buster shot someone into her own fountain, doesn't work out. They will take down the second Nexus turret of the game. Nilah still trolling by pushing top lane, and they will end the game only 23 minutes in. And even though Big T kind of ran it down in the last fight, I mean, with 10 kills and 11 assists, that's a master class from our big Tonka T. But yeah, thank you for letting me catch your game, Tyler. And yeah, Tyler1, thank you for watching. See you next time.